let's talk about psychic scams and frauds. So, the good, the bad, and the ugly. There are amazing psychics, there are people with really strong intuition but not quite psychic, and then there are people that are out to take advantage of other people, some of them having actual psychic gifts and some of them being complete frauds. Either way, these are the people that you want to avoid. It's getting more and more prevalent, especially as COVID hit. More people are looking for answers, they're looking for reassurance that everything's going to be okay. So we're seeing more and more of these people popping up, specifically on social media, Instagram, Facebook, that kind of thing. And so I want this video to really be able to help you navigate how to find, we'll be talking about how to find a good psychic in the next video in this series. But for the first video, I really want you to kind of know the signs of how to avoid and who to avoid getting in these situations. And so there are scam artists in every profession. A big hailstorm comes, a bunch of people roll into town and will tell you, hey, we'll fix your roof for half the price of that guy. He's booked 2 weeks out. We'll get you in tomorrow. We'll fix your roof. You give them the cash, they never come back. There's, in every profession, you're going to have people that are good at their job, people that are bad, and people that are trying to take advantage. It's very prevalent in the psychic industry, the healer industry, and the medium industry, because a lot of people don't want to talk about that they're getting a reading or that they get readings. It's still a little taboo, not quite mainstream, and people are afraid what other people will think if they're getting readings. So if they're getting scammed, there's a lot of shame in that. They don't want to talk to people. They maybe won't find a way to get their money back, or they won't go after the scam artists. It's just sort of this thing that they don't want to get involved in or have people know that it happened to them. And it can happen to everybody. This isn't something that just happens to people that are, I've heard people say, well, it only happens to unintelligent people, and that's not true. I've known people that are lawyers, people that are doctors, people that are very high functioning, but they're in a space of desperation. And that's what these scam artists prey on in any industry. People that are desperate to get their roof fixed, desperate for information, it doesn't matter. So you want to avoid going into situations where you're feeling a desperation, a need for answers. You need this fixed now. You need you need that magic pill of somebody fixing your problems. And that's one of the things to kind of avoid if you're in that kind of state of mind, then avoid the psychic realm altogether. But I want to give you some hints on what to look for. So one of the first things to look for, especially on social media, with these Facebook scams, are they'll go onto other people's pages. So maybe there's a live video going on or a legitimate psychic that's posting information, and they'll go on and reach out to people. Hey, message me for a reading. Hey, I'm getting information about you. Contact me. Legitimate psychics don't need to reach out to people like that. So that's your first hint that something's wrong. And there's no integrity with going onto somebody else's page and trying to pull people that are following them, people that are listening to their videos, their posts, and trying to pull them into theirs. That would be like going to a pizza place and there's somebody standing in the lobby from another pizza place trying to sell you pizzas as you're walking into the pizza place you wanted to go to. There's just no integrity. Those aren't the people you'd want to work with, even if they were legitimate. But that's a clear sign that, hey, something's off, something's wrong. And so you really want to avoid that as much as possible. Another thing to really avoid is people making really weird false claims. So they're the best in the world. They can definitely fix this. They're making promises. They're telling you that, yep, they're the only person that can do something. So I'm the only person that can work with this energy, or you have to specifically see me. That's a load of bull. Like, don't buy into that. There's nobody in the world that can only work with one specific thing, or that can specifically help you when they're the only person. That's a clear sign that something's up. That is a red flag. Another red flag is if they only have a Facebook account, there's no websites, there's no referrals, there's no references, there's no testimonials, or the testimonials aren't coming from real people. So anybody can post on their website a bunch of information that says it's from people. You want to be looking at like Google reviews. You want to be looking at Facebook reviews from actual people, because some of these people will make fake accounts and then have all these reviews. So you really want to do your homework from multiple sources before you give anybody money, and really look into who you're giving your money to. Again, if it's nothing but a Facebook profile, that's not a good way to start. So do your research about who you are giving your money to. If they're offering curses, spells, hey, I saw, maybe they saw you posting, they looked at your Facebook page, they saw you just broke up, because people can look into your stuff just as much as you can look into theirs. So, hey, they saw that you just broke up, hey, you have this curse on you about love, and I can get rid of it for X amount of dollars, and I can put a curse on your lover, or, that kind of thing. Really watch out for that. Steer clear of that. That is another red flag that something is off here. Some other things to watch, which I kind of briefly talked about earlier, are exaggerated claims. So they're the best in the world, or Oprah magazine or Time magazine, or they're best rated. If that's true, they will have a link that shows an article that Oprah magazine posted about them. They will be happy to show you those references, those interviews, where they're making these claims from. If it's just claims, best in the world, or so-and-so says they're the best in the world, if you can't validate that, it's time to just block that person. It's time to not engage with that person. If you look at a Facebook profile or at a website and there's no pictures of them, there's no personal information, there's no contact information, people that are legitimate psychics have have ways to get in contact with them, but they also, there's a lot of things that lead back to them. This is their reputation that they're building. So they, want to have a good reputation, and they want to provide information about themselves to let you know that they're legitimate, but who you're going to be working with, because every psychic is different and not everybody works well with the same people. So they want to be able to tell you more about themselves and what they do, so that people booking appointments know exactly what they're getting in for. So if there's really general vague information about this person, or it just seems a little wacky, be careful of that. Another huge red flag are free and cheap readings. So people that do this professionally for a living, this is how they pay their bills, this is how they pay their mortgage and pay for their kids' soccer practice and soccer and that kind of thing. So if somebody's saying they'll give you a free reading, it's not going to be free. Here's what happens. Hey, I'll give you this free reading. They give you this free reading. It's very fear-based, and they say, hey, buy this $800 candle to get rid of the negative energy. Or, I'll put a curse on this person, or I'll remove a curse, or there's a demon attached to you, and you need to give me $500, $5,000 to be able to get rid of it. And it keeps going. Oh, I couldn't quite get rid of it. Oh, now you need this. And they keep pumping you for money. And so I remember once seeing on Groupon that somebody was offering readings for like $1.99 on Groupon. How Groupon works is they take half of the profit, and then you still have to pay fees and taxes on that. So you're left, because I know people that have done readings for Groupon, I think you're left with only 20 or 30%. So let's say you're giving a $100 reading, Groupon takes half, and then you have the taxes, the fees. You get maybe $25 to $30, and at least a couple of years ago, this is how it was. You get at least $20 or $30 from that, 20 or 30%, something like that. So after, a $2 reading, they're really left with under $1. They're going to give you a reading. That should be a red flag. Again, if people are doing this professionally, they need to support themselves, and that free reading is going to lead into them trying to get more money from you. Nobody is going to work that cheaply if they're good at what they do. So free and super cheap readings, another red flag. You get what you pay for, and that doesn't mean necessarily you have to pay $7,000 for a reading, but there's a big gap between people that are charging like $20 or less than $20, and people that are charging $200 and up. So, you kind of go with, you get what you pay for in those situations. My sister once sent me a picture when she was, driving through Mississippi, and there was a gas station with somebody advertising like $1 readings, psychic readings at a gas station, you know, maybe something to avoid. That might not be where you want to be getting a reading. So again, that's another, you know, another red flag. So really, you know, things to look out for. Can you find them in other places? Do they have websites? Do they have phone numbers? And that doesn't mean they can't make all of these fake things, but they're going to put as little effort as possible into those, and they're not going to want to pay for websites if they're not legitimate. So do they have websites that have pictures, that have personal information, that have phone numbers, that have emails? Do their prices seem like reasonable for what they're doing? Does it seem like there's value behind that, or are they giving away, you know, $2 readings that, you know, that might be a red flag for you? Are they reaching out to you? Again, big red flag. I've never gone into, I personally, and I don't know anybody that does what I do that I'm friends with, that has ever gone up to somebody in a grocery store and handed them a business card, or gone up to people on Facebook and been like, here, I can give you this reading. Like, we don't do that. So if somebody's reaching out to you, another huge thing about the readings that is one of the biggest red flags is, are they fear-based? Are they making you feel more afraid instead of maybe supporting you? So it's not that readings are going to fix all your problems. They shouldn't. They're guidance. But if you are feeling worse about the situation or yourself as the reading progresses, get out of it. Even if you paid for it, like, it's better to lose your money than to be in that situation. So if they're, you know, again, telling you you have a curse on you, or there's a negative entity, and it's not, you know, okay, you might have negative energy, but here's how to get rid of it. Here are the crystals you want to use. They're giving you the tools and the opportunity to teach you and do it yourself, versus you have negative energy, you have an entity, everything in your life is going to just go down, you know, down the toilet unless you give me $7,000. So if it's fear, and then they're trying to sell you something based on fear, readings should lift you up. They should empower you. Again, it doesn't mean that a psychic is going to tell you everything everything you want to hear. You know, maybe you're not supposed to be with the person that you're with, or maybe you're not going to get the job that you really want. But if it's fear-based, well, you're not going to get it because of this, and I can fix that, that is something you want to be really leery of. So if a reading starts feeling really negative and just really general information, and they're asking a lot of questions and not asking for, so sometimes psychics will, hey, does this make sense to you? And they'll ask that so they can get more information. If it doesn't make sense, how, you know, get more information from your soul, your spirit guides, your angels, whoever they're working with, about how to reword it or to get more specific. But if they're asking, you know, pointed questions, are you in a relationship? Are you married? Are you this? And they're just kind of fishing for information, red flag, get out of that. But if it's very general, like, oh, you know, you've been going through some hard times, and not everything in your life is coming together, and, you know, there's some challenges that have been going on in the last year. Well, in 2020, who didn't have challenges? So, you know, if it's very general, they can't give you specifics, and it leaves you feeling worse, or it's just very negative, definitely get out of that situation. And again, this can happen to anybody, especially if you're on spiritual pages. These people really go out of their way to find people, and they'll just post under, you know, everybody's comments. So there might be 100 people that they're posting, hey, contact me for your reading, or, you know, that kind of thing. And maybe out of 100 people, they might get 1 or 2 people that are like, oh, you know, this person is really drawn to me. I should contact them. They really see something in me, you know. They're just fishing. They're fishing. They're trying to see if anybody will bite. So before working with a psychic, whether it's, even if it's free and you're like, oh, hey, you know what, this is free, there's nothing I can lose from this, there really is. So they're going to try to bait you in. They're going to try to scare you. They have a lot of tactics. So don't waste your time. Don't waste your energy. If you want a psychic, do the research. Read the reviews, get recommendations from people. How long have they been in business? How long has their website been up? Doing your research is really important. So I hope this video has helped. I hope this can give you some information about, you know, just keeping your energy safe and keeping you out of situations that, you know, don't make you feel great in the spiritual world. And I'll be going into more information about how to find the right psychic, and when is the best and worst times in your life. When should you avoid getting a reading, and when should you reach out to a psychic or a medium? So those are upcoming videos, and I hope you watched, and I hope you enjoyed this and that it was helpful. Thanks.